Hello everyone, my name is Amanda and welcome back to another video of the Planty Mandy. So first of all, I know I need a haircut. I haven't been cutting my hair since March because of the pandemic obviously, but today I just feel like letting it down, so yeah, I apologize if it looks messy. Anyway, let's go back to today's topic. So so as Hoya parents, some of us collect Hoya for their foliage, some of us collect Hoya for their blooms, and some of us collect them for both. So I personally collect Hoya mainly for their leaves just because, you know, they're not in bloom all the time, so it'd be nice to have something that I like or I enjoy to look at throughout the year. And that's why I mainly collect them for their leaves. And if they bloom for me, that would be a bonus. So when it's come to Hoya leaves, we all have our own poison. So some of us like the larger leaf variety, some of us like the splashy leaves, some of us like the veiny leaves variety. So we all have really different preference. And I think it would be nice for us to just do like a series of different Hoya leaves. So a while ago, I did a video called Hoya Foliage Favorite, and I also did a sun-kissed Hoya video. So it will be more or less the same of that kind of format. So essentially, I'm just gonna pick one trait, you know, from the Hoyas that I have. For example, like, you know, we can talk about splashy leaves Hoya in one video, and then we can talk about like veiny leaves Hoya in another video. And I'm just gonna pick out my top 5 favorites in my collection. So I think that would be a fun idea for us to just learn more different species together, because there's way over 700 or 800 Hoya species out there. And it will be nice for us to like just find out something that we don't know of. I'm going to share with you guys what I have in my collections, and you guys can also share that in the comment with me. So I think that will be a fun project to do. So before we get started, I have a couple of disclaimers. So number one, like I said, there are so many Hoyas out there. So these are just the one that in my collection that I pick out. So I'm sure that there's like a ton of other beautiful Hoyas that have the same traits, like, you know, veiny leaves Hoya, splashy leaves Hoya or whatnot out there. So these are just my personal favorite in my own collection. And second, when I mentioned that this Hoya is, you know, easily accessible or it's harder to find, it's really referred to my own geographical location. So I live in San Francisco in California in the United States. So if you guys are from another state or even from another country, you may have a different, you know, commercial availability of the Hoya that I'm going to talk to you about. So yeah, so I just want to put this out there before we get started. So today I figure I'm gonna start with my favorite Hoya foliage trait, like my personal favorite, which is the large round leaves Hoyas. So I know we all have different preference, and some of us will have like multiple preference, because for example, I do really like the round leaves, large round leaves Hoyas that have more succulency to it, but I also know that I also like, you know, splashy Hoya. I do like veiny Hoya, so it can be overlap. But, you know, the goals for this video just to show you a couple of them that the dominant trait to my eyes are their round big leaves. So, yep, let's get started. So the first one I want to show you will be considered as a more common Hoyas, like at least in my location. And this guy, it's actually one of my first Hoyas, and it hasn't done anything for me, like literally nothing, no growth for the first 6 months. I don't know why. But then once I add a grow light for it, it just started to grow like crazy. I mean, like, it's literally gave me like multiple sets of new leaves, like, you know, in the same month. So this is no other than the Hoya obovata. So this is one of my first Hoya, like I said, and when I first got it, there's nothing at all. So it's just basically the bottom here, and this vine you can see right here didn't exist either. So basically, all this and all the vine here, and also this guy right here, like this whole thing right here has been new grown, and you can see that the more it grow, like the higher it grow, the leaves actually get bigger and more splashy. So you can see how like perfect, I'm obsessed with this leaf. You can see how perfect and how round this leaf is. And then apparently it's also, giving me more splash. So yeah, so you can, in comparison to the leaf at the lower one, which is not as splashy, and then the top one is a lot more splashy. And then it's a lot more, it's a lot bigger and more and rounder too, which is like right up my alley. So yes, and also as you can see, it's still like, giving out a lot of new growth up here. Sorry, my hand's shaky. And also on the other side. So when the Hoya's obovata leaves first came out, it's more in like this like maroon or like red color, like a lot of other Hoyas. And then when it eventually grow more mature, it will just like, turn into this really nice inky green color, which I also really enjoy. So yeah, so this is my first favorite round leaves Hoya, the Hoya obovata. A really, really beautiful and again, easily accessible, at least in my location, Hoyas. For you guys to try. It's super easy to care for. Just give it a lot of light. And I water it maybe like once a week, like once every 7 days to 10 days. So I don't really go by like days when I water Hoyas. I go by like how heavy the pot feel, like how dry the soil feel, or even like if the leaves feel soft. So that's basically how I water it. But yeah, this guy, I basically just leave it under a grow light, and then I water it, like I said, one every 7 to 10 days, and then it just keep growing. So yeah, a good one to have. The next three I'm gonna show you guys, they're all related. So it's make perfect sense why I like all of them, because they are related. So my second favorite round leaves Hoyas I want to show you is this one. So this is my Hoya Vitellina. Vitellina, yeah, I think so. So yeah, so this guy, I show it in my Sun-Kissed Hoya video, I believe. Or no, I forgot. But anyway, yeah, you can see like it's also have like a larger round leaves, and then it's also turned purple. I think it's because I leave it in like a pretty strong grow light, and then it just have this like anthocyanins that came out that I talk about in my Sun-Kissed Hoya video. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, because I explain like how to get more color out of your Hoyas and the mechanism behind it. But yeah, so this is my Hoya Vitellina. As you can see, I have this new leaf. It started to come out and it's like super red. And then the rest of them is just turning red or purple because of the lights I'm giving it. And if you can look closer, I don't want to break this, but yeah, so there's like more tiny leaves like coming out at the bottom as well. So yeah, I really like love this Hoyas. So yeah, this is the other round leaf species that I really like, Hoya Vitellina. Okay, cool. So remember I said the next three, so the Hoya Vitellina is actually related to the next two Hoyas I'm gonna introduce. So now Hoya Vitellina is a species, right? So meaning that it's a naturally occur Hoya variety in the nature, right? So the next two I'm gonna show you, it's actually a cultivar, meaning that human, cross the different species and get this species. So the first one I want to show you is my Hoya Joy. So Hoya Joy, you can see the leaf is like also a bit rounder and pretty big. So yeah, I really love this Hoya. So when I say they are a cultivar, so this one is actually a cross between the Hoya Vitellina I just showed you and a cross and a species from Laos. So they don't have a name for it, so they just call Hoya Spa Laos. So that's basically the cross of that two. And you can see obviously it have like, the Vitellina characteristic, which is like rounder, bigger leaves. And I want to show you this beautiful new leaves. That just, kind of more developed now. And then I have 2 other leaves here. And then there's like a couple new growth on actually starting in the middle as well. So yeah, so this is my other favorite round leaves Hoya variety, the Hoya CV Joy. Yeah, so really like this one. Also super easy to care for, very succulent variety. And yeah, I give it a really chunky mix, as you can see, just like mostly bark. Same thing, I just, you know, put it under a grow light, water it maybe like once every 7 to 10 days, same as the obovata, and then it's just perfectly heavy, and you know, it has been growing. So yep, really beautiful. Oh, by the way, I got this from Coco Ranch Hoya from Susan Swagsfager. She always have like just wonderful, beautiful, healthy plants. So if you have never checked her out, check her out. So the next one I want to show you, it's also related to vitellina. I'm a little bit confused about this species, this cultivar actually, because there's like not a lot of information out there. And this is the Hoya Metallica. So Hoya Metallica also, when I did my research, at least is said to be a cross between Hoya vitellina, which is the second one I show you right here, and also a cross with a Hoya spa Laos. So essentially, when I did my research, just tell me that Hoya Joy and Hoya Metallica actually have the same parents, but they are 2 different types of seedlings. So what it means is when someone cross Hoya vitellina and Hoya spa Laos, they collect the seeds and they grow the seedlings, and there's 2 different look of the seedlings that grow out, and one of them being Hoya Joy and the other one being Hoya Metallica. So this is just from what I researched on, okay? So if you guys are like, you know a lot more than me, which, you know, a lot of you guys do, let me know, because this is from what I can find on the website or on some peer review article. But yeah, but you know, regardless, it's a beautiful species. It's also have like rounded leaves, and you can see all this like sunspot because I'm giving it a lot of light. And yeah, I can totally see the resemblance there with Hoya CV Joy. I would say, in comparison to Joy, the Metallica probably have a little bit more rounded leaves in comparison. So yeah, also super easy. I would say the leaf is tiny bit thinner than Hoya Joy. So yeah, I also just put in the grow light, water maybe like once every 7 to 10 days, same thing, in this really bulky mixture as well. So yeah, so that's why I say the 3 are related, and you can totally see the resemblance. So this is Hoya vitellina, which is one of the parents of Hoya Metallica. And I wish I have 3 hands, but I only have 2. This is Hoya Joy, and this is Hoya Metallica. So yeah, they're like pretty much sisters. So last but not least, so this guy, it's absolutely one of my favorite. I actually talk about it in my Hoya Foliage Favorites. So out of all the Hoyas, you know, this guy is definitely in the top 3 or maybe even top 2. And this is the Hoya loyceandrewsiana. Correct me if I pronounce it wrong. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it wrong. But so this is the Hoya loyceandrewsiana. So it was a trade with Sabri, which is one of my Instagram friends. She's very nice. I think she's from Washington, I want to say, but I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, she was really nice. She traded me a Hoya loyceandrewsiana unrooted cutting with 3 gigantic leaves. So like you can see, like it's as big as my face. I just have a really big face, but you know, it's pretty much as big as my face. Yeah, and yeah, I got it an unrooted cutting, and then, you know, because the cutting is so healthy, it's rooted up in like no time at all, like maybe 2 weeks. It just fully rooted up, and I pot it up in this really chunky mixture. So now I know there's this debate between Hoya latifolia and Hoya loyceandrewsiana. So when I first got this from Sabri, it was sold to her as a Hoya latifolia, and then of course, you know, when I got it, it was traded to me as a Hoya latifolia. But then, you know, I posted on Facebook, and some of them were like, you know, experienced collectors and experts told me that, oh, it's actually look more like a loyceandrewsiana. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did some research on myself. I looked at like tons of images. And yeah, I agree. I think this is actually a loyceandrewsiana instead of a latifolia. But again, regardless, super gorgeous species. You can see how round and how big the leaves are. And also it's really succulent. So meaning that, you know, it's probably don't need to be watered as often. And also mean that it probably can stand a lot more light. As you can see, I have some like red spot on here, and those are just sunspot because I put it really close to the grow light or light spot. And yeah, so a little bit lighter green in comparison to the other one I show you, but regardless, it's just really beautiful, really easy to care for. So yep, this is my last but not least favorite round leaves varieties of Hoyas. Hoya loyceandrewsiana. Such a long name. All right, so that's all I have for you today. So we talk about 5 of my favorite round leaves varieties of Hoya in my collection. So I'm just gonna recap really quick. We have the Hoya obovata. We have the Hoya vitellina. I cannot tilt it too much because the lacquer is gonna come out. And I have the first kid, the first children, the first child, which is Hoya CV Joy, which is a cultivar between Hoya vitellina and Hoya Spa Laos. And I have her sister, Hoya Metallica, also said to be a cultivar or a cross between Hoya vitellina and Hoya Spa Laos, but it's a different seedlings. And again, let me know if I'm like completely wrong, because there's so much information out there. And last but not least is my Hoya loyceandrewsiana. Say it 3 times fast. So yeah, really beautiful varieties of Hoyas. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I think it's super fun for me to just like, you know, talk about one particular traits of Hoya leaves in one video. So that way we can all learn some new species together. And then, yeah, and then if you guys have your favorite round leaves Hoya, make sure that you leave it in a comment below. I would love to learn some new varieties of round leaves Hoya from you, because that's really my personally, you know, my personal favorite of Hoya leaves. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure you click like. If you want more future video, make sure you click subscribe. And that should remind me of one thing. So I'm gonna do like, you know, multiple videos in this series, which is like a particular traits, you know, of Hoya's leaves. So yeah, I have a couple, you know, trait in mind right now, which is the more common one. For example, the veiny one, the splashy one. I also want to do like a succulent ones or like a thinner leaves variety. So if you guys have any idea, like any suggestion, please make sure to put it in a comment below. I would love to hear about that, or maybe a fussy leaves one. I just thought of that. But yeah, so as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.